player spawning on the far right-hand side of Golden Wall LE in the blue, representing Cascade Gaming in Russia. It is SKillous.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side here, representing Gamers Origin, he is the French Zerg player. The legendary is Stephano.
Nice. So Golden Wall, of course, an awesome map. We can take a minute just to point out the features. If you guys haven't been watching a lot of StarCraft for the last couple months, you may be a little unsure what this map's all about. Grant, if you don't mind, we can take 30 seconds to just educate the people on what's going on here on Golden Wall.
Yeah, so Golden Wall is split into two maps almost. As you can see throughout, there are these mineral patches that you can mine that will open up the bottom side of the map. Unless you mine out those mineral patches, be it the gold or the blue minerals, you cannot access the bottom side by the ground. What this means is quite often you'll see an entire gameplay purely on the top side of the map, with the bottom side only used for dropping and air units and things like that. But some players love to open it up very early, and love to use it as a backdoor into the main, as Creighton is showing you so elegantly right now. It's a very fascinating map. Really, because you don't see many bases on the south side, it's a very small map. You can see, apart from the middle, which is kind of, both of you can have it, you get to share. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases available for each player on their side of the map. Unless you go very hyper late game, and then you may see the bottom used a bit more. But it's unusual. Usually this is one of the shorter maps. It has shorter games on it. We did see a couple of Terran versus Zergs go a bit longer. Cass yesterday played Blind. It went very long on this map.
Right.
But in this matchup, I would expect to see this be a slightly shorter game.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting interactions that also go... that also happen on Golden Wall that we really should, if we have time to talk about, because both players opening fairly standard. Hatchcast pool for Stephano, and it looked like a Cyber Expand out here with the Nexus going down for skills on the north side. But it's really interesting to see what happens on this map, especially with Zerg players, I find, and in regards to mining out these minerals here in the backside of their main base. As a Twilight Council goes down for skillless, the question we've got to ask ourselves, is Stephano going to open up this bottom side and allow his Lings access to the bottom half of the map here, because it's very easy to get Immortals, to get Warp Prisms, to get a blink in through here. And if the Zerg player is not monitoring the bottom side of the map, they're not going to have much luck in defending some of that aggression if they don't see it coming.
I completely agree. Meanwhile, in this game, we have SKillous going for what seems to be here a Glaive Adept opening. We should expect to see Glaive Stick Boom right then. And he's going to be opening up very standard. Now, there is a long distance between the third and the main, as it is in a straight line. Zerg plays very rarely taking that gold as their third because it's so open on multiple angles. But this is I like this build here. We'll see a Prism come almost immediately out of the Robo. We'll see a few gateways, probably going up to 4 in total. 3 so far, and there's the 4th. And SKillous is going to be moving out with the Glaive Adept, trying to find some damage, trying to force roaches. That's the main thing. Now, Stephano doesn't know what he's playing against. He hasn't scouted anything, if I am correct, and I am correct. So he's getting Spore Crawlers, just in case. And unfortunately for him, it's not going to be... there's not going to be any air units. So Spores will be good for pushing back Prisms, but they're not going to do too much else.
Yeah, the Lings popping across now for Stephano, going to run up against a brick wall here. SKillous has done a good job of walling off his natural and finally warping in those last 4 Adepts. Now, the Overlord will see this coming. If we check the vision of Stephano, he sees the Warp Prism, he sees the Adepts coming across, and now he knows what's up. His Roach Warren almost finished up, and it should be finished in time to get a couple of Roaches out, but SKillous may have about 10, 20, 30 seconds here to try and do some damage, depending on how many Adepts he's willing to commit to. We see the first Warp in coming in, up to 8 Adepts here. He'll likely attack with 12, but the question is going to be, will he have enough game sense to know when to continue warping in Adepts and when to end this pressure for good?
Yeah, finally the Roach number is going to start to grow here, as we do see Russian Protoss players start to commit a little bit heavily here onto Creep. He is going to warp in 3 more Adepts now, putting up to a total of 11. And this is scary. Stephano has to handle this well. His Roach count is getting there, as we do see Glaive Adepts now shade backwards. They're not going to get anything, it looks like. It looks like Stephano's got a really solid defense. And the more we see Zergs play against this, the better they are getting at defending. Now, the good news is this pressure never really ends, because Glaive Adepts, as long as they're alive, are always a threat. And with a prism as well, they can be dropped at any point. They're going to tear through a mineral line like it's hot butter on a, I don't know, something.
Hot butter on a 4th of July corn cob. You wouldn't get that reference, but any American viewers will definitely get that. So you see more adepts. You're right. The aggression never really ends from this Glaive Adept. As long as there are adepts available, there's pressure available to the Protoss player, and it is going to force rotations out of Stephano. But man, if there's one thing Stephano has learned to do over the course of his illustrious StarCraft career, it is control large numbers of roaches very precisely. That man knows how to move. 200 army is nothing but roach all day long. The adepts will be forced to shade out of the third there. How many drones did they kill, Grant? How many drone kills did SKillous end up with in this initial wave of adept aggression?
Uno.
Yeah. Whoa, that's... Hold on. Wait. You're speaking in tongues now, Grant. You're scaring me.
No, he definitely only gets one, but now this is good. This is what SKillous needs to be doing. He's split them up a little bit better. He's going to find many, many kills now across the map. 5 going in, but these adepts should be pretty safe as well. You can see, as long as they play pretty far back, he may lose a couple, but for the amount he has killed, this is by no means bad. Is he going into the main as well? Yes, he is. And he's just going to pick up in the prism and go home.
Very nicely done. Not sacrificing a lot of adepts there. Only 5 going down, but only 6 drones as well. You know, I think we're very quick as StarCraft fans because we're conditioned to think of things as wins or losses in StarCraft, because that's, of course, how we judge our players. I'm not sure we can call that a win or a loss for either player. A bit of a draw, if you ask me. Not a lot of adepts going down, not a lot of drones going down. Stephano not slowed down, and neither is SKillous. Maybe SKillous with a slight advantage, putting on some pressure, keeping Stephano back home, forcing out a lot of roaches, and preventing himself from getting overrun. But Stephano's still in decent shape at 54 army supply, and adding on some more roaches now.
Yeah, a few more workers going down here. This is nice. On the fadeaway, if you can get just a few more. The best thing right now for SKillous is his immortal count. It's already at 4, and he's producing his 5th. How many sentries does he currently have? Only 3, but I'd expect to see maybe a few more coming in. And we are seeing a robotics bay go down here for SKillous. SKillous' tech is good. His 3rd is up. He'll be able to take that gold as his 4th, probably in not too much time if he chooses to. And I like this here. Now, Stephano does have his 4th going up as well, and of course that's fine. He wants to be a base ahead as a Zerg, but Stephano's not yet teched at all. He has
no tech, no upgrades, no nothing. He's just starting roach speed in +1, but whoa, look at that. 7 minutes and 50 seconds. He is dropping that infestation pit.
A couple more drones go down here to the adept drop, which is going to continue moving across the map here. We can see the summit 3rd as well. And now, this is what I mean. These adepts don't lose value. Because now, 20 drones have gone down in total. 21 as we say that. And the number is still rising. And this is really great. Because now we can see that SKillous is up in workers by 7. His army supply may be lower, but roaches give a lot of supply bloat. They give a lot. You get a lot of them, but they don't do too much damage. They're not very supply efficient compared to Immortals, which have so much value for the supply. We see Colossi on the way, Extended Thermal Lance, Blink, +1 coming. Stephano doesn't even have... He has 1 Evo Chamber now, and he's got about half of an upgrade. You can see +2 already starting here, so an upgrade and a half lead for SKillous, and he has Chrono as well, so this is looking pretty good here for the Russian Protoss player. Oh my god, Stephano.
Yeah. Colosso already coming out, and oh man, he's going to lose more and more drones here. This adept pressure continuing, but yes, going for burrowed roach movement and burrow here. He is really, really cashing his chips, going all in on these roach attacks. Goodness me, goodness me.
1 observer on the map right now.
40 lings behind this, holy crap.
There are a lot of photon cannons down so far, 4 for SKillous. He has 1 in each base, and that's going to be good. He will see this. He has 2 at that base. That's fantastic. He will see this kind of burrowed roach movement pretty early. And SKillous is doing a good job of scouting. I think he's caught a glimpse of it with something he has in the middle of the map there. There's a blue dot just below Stephano's army that may have caught a glimpse of what is going on. Stephano's moving around, but he's really not going to find too much here. Except for that hallucinating spinach. Yeah, of course, seeing everything. Oh no, Stephano! Okay. Nearly miles himself.
Poor guy. Yeah, but Burrowed Roach movement still about 20 seconds away from being finished, but so is Extended Thermal Lance, and those 2 upgrades are really going to define the discussion that we're having this game. Are Colossi with Extended Thermal Lance enough to drive back these roaches? I love that he's only made 1 Colossus, though. Doesn't want to, maybe trying to bait out some Corruptors or Aspire or something, but Stephano not taking that bait. Still a lot of Immortals out and Disruptors behind this. Disruptors so much more effective than Colossi against these big balls of roaches.
Yeah, I think the Colossus is just in case of a mass link kind of style, but Disruptor will be the name of the game now that everything's been scouted. There are borrowed roaches that have made their way into the natural and a couple going up into the main right now. You can see there's a Disruptor here to deal with it. There's a cannon here. There's a couple of Stalkers coming back. Don't pull your whole army, Skillous. Oh, Skillous, you don't want to be losing a Disruptor. That's a very important unit in the defense. The Colossus doing a good job against all of these lings. You see a super battery that's going to keep a cannon alive seemingly forever. And that cannon just chunking away even on all of the units here from Stephano. Stefano's borrowed roaches are annoying. They've killed 6 workers. It's probably not as many as he wants right now. But it's not over yet.
No, I mean, Stephano is softening up his army a whole lot here. He's 146 army supply, but that's not all in the same place. And now that he's baited out the shield better, he's going to try and go for an attack. Burrowed Roaches moving back into the natural. The Photon Cannon's still there to defend him, but a big attack. Here he's just drawing Skillous's army into the third, I think to try and create some space for these Burrowed Roaches to get in. And Roaches getting on top of this army right now. Stephano in 2 places at once here as the attack goes down again at the third.
Yeah, and I don't think we're seeing Skillous split his army too much. Finally, he's going to send off a small brigade here of of Stalkers even. These Stalkers do have Blink and should be able to chase this down okay. We see 1 battery and a cannon there trying to fight it off in the main. Now a few more probes even have gone down. Because he's finally starting to find a bit more damage. But Skillous is still getting closer to max. He's still doing a good job of defending. Despite losing all of these workers, and his army continues to grow in value. If he had a couple more, if he didn't lose those Disruptors, I'd be really liking his position right now, but I still don't think it's bad by any means. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely has 5-6 Mortals out right now. Mortal's going to tear through that, especially with the, well, the Warp Prism's not available right now. I'm not sure where that Warp Prism went. It looks like it's, not on the ground anymore. He must have lost that Warp Prism somewhere. But without the Warp Prism, the Immortal's not going to be quite as efficient, but he still does have 6 of them. So even though Stephano was attacking in 3 places at once, he's like a Terran with drops, posturing outside the third, dropping the main and the natural. He was all over the place, and that did force Skillous back home. Skillous lost an awful lot. That was a really good initial aggression from Stephano there, and I like his position now. But +3 on the way for Skillous.
Yeah, I've got to respectfully disagree because Stephano, although he did some damage, he's still behind in workers at only 50. He only has +1. +3 is halfway done for Skillous. +3, 6 Immortals. This army literally will just disappear. You can see the blink forward here to take down a lot of these Burrowed Roaches. This is nice, catching a few of them on unawares, but we do see a big push coming towards the north, and it doesn't look like Skillous has much of his army there. Okay, he's now heading back up. Can he get that in time? It looks okay.
If Stephano focus fires down, he can get a lot of this Nexus down. Luckily, Skillous rotating bound just in time, but there are still Burrowed Roaches here in the main, drawing out a bunch of the army of Skillous right now, and Stephano may have a chance to pick down some of this army, but yeah, I think you're right. Oh my god. Those Purification Novas absolutely destroying it. And yeah, while Stephano, I think, had a chance if he was able to distract Skillous a little bit, Skillous simply didn't take the bait there. And yeah, Stephano is going to be rotating around, going to be retreating very heavily, trying to add on 15 more Roaches. But man, it's going to take a miracle at this point now for Stephano to come back.
Yeah, Stephano just couldn't find the right fight. Destruction Nova taking down a good amount there of the Roach and the Ravager army. And look, +3 is ticking away. We're going to see that 15-second countdown in probably just 5 seconds. And that means Skillous will go. He is even in army supply against Roaches. He is still sat at 8 Immortals against Roach Ravager. And right now,
Skillous has not lost an Immortal all game, Grant.
Oh,
not one Immortal has gone down yet for Skillous. He has protected these with his life, even with no Warp Prism available earlier to save them. His Warp Prism now on the way as he moves on to creep, dodging those Corrosive Biles, but Purification Novas helping to zone this Zerg army out.
Oh, this is a big one.
Stephano losing so much. An aggressive blink from Skillous. This is looking real bad, Grant.
Yeah, Stephano right now needs a miracle. He is down he's still up in army supply, but the upgrade, a 2 upgrade disadvantage. This Colossus has been alive for so long as well. How many kills has he managed to pick up? 2.
2. I thought it would be more than that as well.
I thought it was going to be like 15.
So he's softening up a lot of the Roaches, I'm sure, with those attacks than the Stalkers, with slightly more numerous attacks, sipping him down. But this was the final fight. Yeah, Stephano knows as well as we do. He simply can't keep up with that bulky, that dangerous ground army, and Skillous is going to grab game number 1.
Yeah, and this is what I expected to see from Skillous after his tweets yesterday. He's playing very well. He defended. He did the damage. His initial opener, you're like, oh no, it didn't do enough. And then he was like, I'm just going to keep going. And then it worked. So we will now be moving into Death Aura. And I imagine that we're now moving in to Skillous' map choice.
That's correct. He is our B player. So the map pick is ABBA. Wait, no, BAC. ABC, yeah. So Death Aura is Skillous' map choice, and if he talked it over with his buddy Creed last night, then he's definitely thought about which maps to go for and what strategies. Do you expect an unorthodox strategy out of Skillous? Are we going to see some proxy tech here?
No. I don't think so. No, I think Skillous is just going to play now. Skillous is going to be feeling good after that game. Here on Death Aura, I don't think we'll see Glaive Adepts again. We may, but I think we're more likely to see maybe a Stargate opening, something along those lines. Oracle into a few Phoenixes to push back Overlords into Sentry Immortal, something along those lines. Oh my god, those probes look good. Okay, let's get into the game, Creighton, and introduce these players.
You're just a sucker for those Brood War skins, aren't you, Grant?
I really love them.
Well, spawning in the bottom left-hand side, or right-hand side, and winning Grant's affection with those retro throwback skins, it is our Russian Protoss player from Cascade Gaming in the blue. It's Skillous.
And his opponent on the top left side, representing Gamers Origin and France, he is the red Zerg player. At one point, the best in the world. It's Stephano.
You know, there's got to be a great feeling of satisfaction here for Skillous. Winning a game like that has got to feel so good. You know, your initial aggression doesn't pan out at the start, but you stick with the plan, you execute very well, and take a win off the back of, I'd say, phase 2 of that initial aggression, right? And then in the mid game, in the mid to late game, you take out the win in an honest-to-God, fair fight where your opponent is executing their strategy fairly well, and you're executing your strategy fairly well, and you just take the win because you can keep up with their sneaky tricks and everything. As you said, Skillous has got to be riding high right now. Got to be feeling good about his chance. Got to be feeling good about his chances. And I agree. I think it looks like we're going to see something a little more standard this time, as we do see Gateway expand. Cybercore coming down now from Skillous.
Yeah, so Skillous now throw down his Cybercore. He'll throw down Pylon and his gas. And everything here very standard for the young Russian. He'll be feeling pretty good going into this game, certainly. Now, I do like Death Aura a lot for Stargate play. The dead space just south of Stephano's main means that you can hide units, specifically oracles, for a very long time and then bring them back in this dead air here. Yeah, they can just sit there for ages. It's the same for a prism. It's a very safe area to keep those units. There's also room to the north of the main. There's just space everywhere. We haven't seen any tech, of course, just yet, as the Cybercore will finish off. And are we going to see a quick... No, okay, so it's not the quickest possible Stargate, as Warp Gate will start first. I could be completely wrong, and we may see a Robo go down soon. Skillous has some gas. Where are you going with this?
I don't know. Whatever his tier 2 tech is, there it is. A little bit late, but you're on top of it, Grant. As always, your play calling phenomenal. Stargate here from Skillous, which I really like. Mixing it up, trying something new. And Stargate, of course, can be just terribly, terribly dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, Adepts on this map maybe not quite as good. The distance between the main and the third and the natural is a little bit less, and it's easier to connect the creep. Stephano also managed to get his natural down in the right place. There was no disruption there, no probe sent early. Skillous is going to come in for a scout, see that the third is there, and no, he's not getting Roach Ravager all in, and he'll be feeling good. He's been able to execute. Overlord has been pushed back in Skillous' main. I don't know if Stephano managed to see the Stargate, but I very much doubt it, as it is all the way in the south.
No, he saw it. He tapped in there with the start, just barely enough to see it starting before he packed out. So he should be aware of it. It's a little surprised he's not grabbing the Spore Crawlers yet. I mean, the Oracle's about halfway done. They should be coming down any second now. But Stephano certainly knows
that. 4 minutes, generally.
Hey, Grant, can you do me a favor? Can you take over observing for a moment? I just need to stand up and stretch just a little bit. I'm going to switch to your camera vision right now. And if you can keep an eye on the action, I'll continue to cast, but keep an eye on the mouse. So I got to just stand up and stretch my legs. And a reminder to all our viewers, if you've been sitting down now, we've been live for 2.5 hours. If you've been sitting down for 2.5 hours, get up, stretch your legs, do some stretches, take care of yourselves, guys. The StarCraft community has already experienced loss due to blood clots and weird health conditions due to being a gamer. Take care of yourselves. We love you too much for anything bad to happen to you.
Yeah, Skillous' Oracle coming in right now. The Spore finishing in perfect timing here. He will manage to get a drone. Maybe could have gone into the natural to pick up 1 or 2 more. But as I said, this dead space is just, you can't push it away. There's no way. It can sit here now for 5-6 minutes, and it's never, ever going to get taken down unless a Spire is built. Spores are going to come in, of course, at all of the bases, as the Oracle actually is going back in here for a Stasis Ward. The Stasis Ward will finish, and that is a whole bunch of drones and a Queen not moving for a long old time. Very good there from SKillous. Stephano has been lurking with a few lings, but not really found too much here. And we do see the Twilight Council coming down behind. A Forge as well. I don't think we've seen the Robo yet. No, we haven't for SKillous. But I expect SKillous now to go into Blink, to go into upgrades, and play this with a third base as he has.
Yeah, it's exactly what you'd expect, right? From a Protoss player who's been doing fairly well. I think the Ling run by here at the third might actually cause a cancel. There's not that much here. Shield batteries, of course, cannot heal up buildings that are still in that building. So he will be able to save the sentries, but there's so many Lings here. Ooh, he's actually getting a heal here. I think this could be good for Stephano. Oh my god, Stephano at the last second. Once the Nexus finishes, of course, the overcharge goes down. And should save that Nexus. But wow, that was real close. I thought Stephano was going to snipe it.
The overcharge is okay here, but you actually have to manually target a Nexus for a shield battery to work on it. You can see it didn't do anything. So that overcharge would have been good if Stephano was going for units, but he never did, and the overcharge ends up being a little bit wasted. Stephano is making a lot of army right now. You can see his Roach Warren's coming down. He made a lot of Lings to be continue aggressive on this base. How much is here to defend it? We have a few sentries, we have a few Zealots. Zealot legs is not yet done. The sentries will need to hit the force field. The Oracles come back. This is nice.
Yeah, SKillous should be fine here. He's got the shield battery healing back up that Nexus, which is the absolute right call. You don't want to have that Nexus so low that you're forced to dive into a desperate position before you're ready. And I think SKillous realizes that he might be in some hot water. It's about time for him to start that gateway explosion. And he is doing it. 6 more gates coming down, which means he'll have a few more rounds of Warpins before the Roaches and Raptors really move across from Stephano and start to do damage. But no Roaches and Raptors yet on the map for Stephano? That's interesting.
Stephano's Roach Warren finished, but he is going for melee upgrades here. I think he mainly kept it to stay safe. He is getting, of course, Roach speed. He will make a few, but I'm not expecting to see a whole lot here as +2 melee already starting off. Whoa. Very, very quick. And there's the Baneling Nest.
Yeah. Is he going to go up to Hydralist or to Mutalist, do you think? Get a Spire down? Or is it worth it for him to just stay on Ling Bane for a while?
I think he's going to play Ling Bane as the predominant here. It is very good against Sentry Immortal to play heavy Ling Bane. And with +2 upgrades as well, Lings will tear through. Stephano may go for a quick hive to get Adrenal. I haven't seen an infestation pit yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe within a minute or two if he wants to stick with this style. He's going to add on a few safety roaches. They deal with run-bys and things like that with ease, and you can see Stephano making sure no fourth goes down. Getting a good scout here, sees that Archons are going to be the flavour of the month here for SKillous, who is defending well.
Good scouts from Stephano, and wow, a lot of Banelings coming down now. 13 as Centrifugal Hooks begins. +2 on the way for SKillous. By the way, I am back in my seat here, Grant, so if you want to follow my camera again, you're more than welcome to do so. As I can take over and serving for us again. Thank you. Just had to get up and stretch my legs a bit, didn't want to take it, but wow, big aggression coming out here from SKillous. Does Stephano have enough to defend?
Stephano has a lot of Banelings and there were no force fields going down. The Archon stands strong in the front. Army supply is very even, and the army right now actually of Stephano is mainly Roaches, which means it's not that efficient. We can see the Prism is going to be used to dance here. Units will be moving in and out. It does look like maybe there was a small micro mistake. A load of units loaded up but didn't need to. Meanwhile, the Oracles seem to have found a bit of damage possibly. We see a few drones going down. Force fields here are good. We're going to see more Zealots coming in. And actually, I think SKillous has just found a really, really good position. He's controlling his units well. Now there's not many Roaches left. Army supply is in favor of the Russian. He's equal on upgrades. +2 wasn't kicked in. He's going to be able to kill a few more drones over here on the 4th of Stephano. And the 4th may even go down.
Yeah, he's going to snag that 4th base almost certainly here. Oh my god, wow, Stephano defends that. Unbelievable. I think maybe SKillous just being a bit cheeky, taking his time. He does lose an Archon there, but he's got enough here. But I think he should be able to push through. The beginning of that fight we saw go fairly well for Stephano. Actually, his initial salvo of Banelings picked off a lot of Zealots. And again, we see the Zealots pretty clumped together here. But, oh, nice splitting there from SKillous. Oh my god, the splitting from SKillous. What is he, Maru? Look at those Zealot splits. Those are beautiful. And the next set of Banelings not going to do too much at all.
More reinforcements coming in now with that Prism. You can see another round of Warpins here. Sentries, Zealots coming in. We also will probably see, no more Archons just yet. But SKillous will be feeling great right now. He's got his +2 on the way, so he will soon be caught up in upgrades. He hasn't taken a 4th behind this. There we go. Just as I say that, he drops that one down. He's winning the fight on this front. He's up in supply. It's been workers.
Yeah, up on workers, 4th base on the way, and Stephano already abandoning that 3rd base, knowing that it's under duress. We see 4 Archons on the make now as SKillous beefs up his army. With +2 finished, this could be the beginning of the end for Gamers Origin Stephano here. Our French player going to lose his 3rd base, cancels out anything building from the larva there. Zealots running amok, the Spore Crawler's going down, and the War Prism's still very much alive, not a scratch on it yet. Stephano in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Stephano is now 3 base versus 3 base against a Protoss player who will soon be 4 base. And you're meant to be a base up as a Zerg, not 1 base down. Drones that have died, really not that many, 16. But the fights have just been so efficient here for SKillous. You see him dodging Biles incredibly. Look at that warp-in round of Zealots. That's so many units now to tank. Is there any Banelings? There's 12 on the way. There's only 2 up right now. Where are the 12 Banelings? They're miles away. They're all the way on the natural ramp. And right now, SKillous found a position. He can put the Archons in the front to tank these Banelings. There's not going to be any Hydras. There's barely any Lings, and they're the ones with the upgrades. The Archons are dodging Biles in case the force fields are going down here, sure, but there's Archons in the front. The Banelings won't do a thing. This is over. Stephano's out.
I mean, almost certainly here, Stephano is eating a lot of damage, and the most important thing is that SKillous hasn't really lost much here. His Gateway army has gone down a bit, but he hasn't lost any. He hasn't lost any Immortals yet. He's lost a fair few Archons, but that's kind of their job, is to soak up damage here. His army is still looking terrifying, despite this attack being sustained for what, 3 or 4 minutes in a row now. A really long attack from SKillous.